I'm bringing this back because I feel like I don't get enough book time, you know? Hey there, creepy peeps. My name is Nightmare Maven. Welcome back to my channel. As you can tell from the title of this video, we're doing a monthly reading wrap up. As I said in the intro, I wanted to bring this back just to talk about the books I'm reading a little bit more in depth, if anybody finds it interesting. We do have a section of our Creepy Book Club live streams where we talk about the other books we've read during the month, but that's usually quicker compared to the rest of the live stream. And I feel like I read a lot of interesting books that you guys might want to know about, and I live to destroy your TBR list. So obviously the Creepy Book Club read for August is included in what I read this past month, and I won't go into detail on that one because we have a live stream. I hear all of the like in-depth details that I thought about Hyde. You can find the live stream. If you're watching this on Friday when this video goes up, the live stream will be tomorrow, Saturday, September 3rd. Yes, at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'll just get that one out of the way really quick. In August, I did read Hyde by Kirsten White, again, which was our August Creepy Book Club pick. I'll keep this one super quick. It's a adult horror novel about a group of people that enter into a competition, which is an extreme hide and seek, like week-long hide and seek game in an abandoned amusement park. And they find out the competition may be a front for something way more sinister. Overall, I liked this one. I thought the premise was super fun. It's instantly one that you're gonna wanna like discuss and like, would you survive, would I survive, etc, etc. And there is a maybe quickly kind of touched upon theme of classism, generational wealth, and just the clash between different generations in the United States, at least. All of that was kind of thrown in there mostly towards the end, but overall it was a fun time. Get into a deeper discussion of this on the live stream tomorrow, though. I'll link it above if you want to set a reminder for tomorrow. Also, Red Sandman by Neil Gaiman. It's like the first book. It just says book 1. I know it includes a couple of different issues. I think it's like the first 20. And I wanted to at least read this one before I started the show, which as of filming this video, I haven't started yet, but I plan on doing so this weekend. And I've read a few other Gaiman books, like actual books, not graphic novels. I don't know that he has anymore. And overall, so far, like Sandman and all the other books I've read so far included, I really love the world building in Neil Gaiman's books and the characters as well. I feel like they're always kind of quirky yet lovable, and his worlds so far are always this like very interesting combination of almost comforting and whimsical but then sinister at the same time, and it feels like the very essence of a fairy tale. I feel like that was definitely the case with the Sandman. I really liked the combination of different like mythologies and belief systems within this. It's kind of surprising and lovely, actually. I feel like a theme, at least something I kind of started to get towards the end of this book, is that like human thought shapes the world. It almost kind of felt like a manifesting sort of thing, even though they didn't use that exact terminology. So it feels like all of these different mythologies and stuff exist because people believe in them, and so therefore they're all true. I don't know if I'm reaching or I completely missed the mark on that one. I've only read the first one so far, so I don't know. So it's like no single dogma or belief system is true, but they all are. And I don't know if that makes sense. There are a lot of dark topics in this book, so if you're thinking about picking it up, I don't know how the show is, but maybe just check your content warnings for this one. And I know Neil Gaiman tends to err on the side of like fantasy, or even like a dark fantasy, I think is probably the best way to describe him overall. But there are some moments in this that are truly horrific. And I was a little bit worried going in because this is technically part of the DC universe, and there definitely were some characters that are from DC films, or I should say DC Comics, where they originated. And there are like a few like name drops here and there of characters. Some of them I recognized, but I think the references were light enough that I didn't feel like I was missing anything, or I didn't feel like I had to look up anything or read some extra information about some other DC superhero to understand. And I will say too, I just need to point out, I really loved the inclusion of just kind of realistic looking bodies. Like I was nervous because it is technically DC that it would be kind of like that stereotypical superhero, like itty bitty waist and like giant tits and ass that just like don't make any logical sense. Like I feel like the women in this book, like they just look like normal bodies. Like I really appreciated that. I would definitely recommend this one. I can't say how it compares to the show yet, but yeah, I would check it out if you're interested. Next, I read 56 Days by Catherine Ryan Howard. This one falls firmly into the thriller category, and I'm trying to read a little bit more in that section, partly because I work in a bookstore and that's all of the scary books kind of are my area of expertise, not just the horror section. Not that I've never read a thriller before, but I'm kind of getting back into it. Anyways though, this is a thriller that takes place during COVID, and a woman and a man meet. It's kind of like a meet cute situation. And they go on a date or two right before all the lockdown starts. So this is very much like at the beginning of the pandemic. So they decide, it's a huge red flag and you're screaming at the characters to not do this, but they decide to spend the 2-week lockdown together. So the girl moves into the man's apartment and one of them ends up dead. So the book bounces back and forth between past and present, being part of the police investigation after the body is found, and then the events leading up to one of them dying. And I keep saying one of them dying because the book keeps that information a secret for quite a bit. I feel like in these thrillers, a lot of the victims tend to be women or feminine characters. So I feel like you're naturally going to assume who it is that's dead. And I like that the book held on to that information for a little bit longer. And I just really like the way the plot was set up. Also, like I said, it bounces back and forth between past and present. And as we're learning new information, occasionally, maybe more towards the latter half of the book, we'll repeat a chapter, not through a different character's lens, but through the same character's eyes with the new information that we've been given. And I feel like that's really clever. Some people may find that annoying. I'll let you use your judgment on that one, but I thought it was super duper clever. It kind of, I don't want to say it was like meta, but it makes you aware of the author in a way. Like the author is like holding all the power in telling you this story. I really liked it. It made for an exciting read for me. And I will say I did have a smidge of everything figured out, but the author does have some surprises for you. She did a great job at like throwing in a twist that was so incredibly realistic, and it was almost like a duh moment. Like, again, I assumed based on other thrillers that I read how this was gonna go, and she was like, no, I'm gonna be slightly different, and it's nothing out of left field, nothing crazy, and it's just something like, I don't know, my brain just didn't naturally go there. Maybe I'm just kind of simple when it comes to when it comes to this sort of stuff. Catherine Ryan Howard was definitely playing with your expectations of how these thriller books normally go. And as somebody who's a big fan of meta horror, I really enjoyed that. If you really like thrillers, 56 Days, I think it's really good. I plan on reading Catherine Ryan Howard's latest book that just came out. It's called Runtime. If it's as meta as this one was, or like subtly meta, I'm very excited about it because I feel like it's gonna give me Scream vibes, but we'll see. And finally, I'm bouncing around all the genres here. I read a sci-fi, like an actual sci-fi book. It was Persephone, I almost said. Persephone Station by Stina Leicht. Probably said that wrong. The book follows a group of mercenaries that are given a job to protect the planet. Persephone is the name of the planet's indigenous population. That's a kind of an overly simplistic summary of what's going on, but if I tried to add in any more details, I'm basically telling you the entire book and it's gonna take me forever. I really liked the action scenes in this one. I feel like the combat was really well done in the sense like it reads like a kind of like space action movie, like maybe like a Marvel movie or something like that. That's really the only reference my brain can think of. Kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy in a way. In terms of like the action and the humor that's interwoven, like I love when the characters are just making like snappy remarks to each other and like kind of joking whilst also engaging in combat, like in a spaceship. Like I think that's again, maybe I'm just overly simple when it comes to these things, but that's really exciting and it's fun to read. The entirety of the main cast are women, feminine presenting people, non-binary people, the entire cast of main characters and side characters. I thought that was completely awesome. Although, kind of jumping from that, I do have to say the way the characters interacted in terms of presenting their gender identity or being aware of each other's gender identity was a little bit awkward. So there are some moments where when a character is being introduced to another character, somebody tells them their pronouns or they tell the person their pronouns, or, you know, like a very natural kind of way to do that, like in a way that makes sense that you might interact with people in your everyday life. And that was fine. But there were other instances where characters, I guess the technical like definition would be they were assuming somebody's gender because they just attribute pronouns to them without having them told to them by the person, if that makes sense. I guess it was only weird because we had scenes of people being told like Rosie's pronouns are they, them to, you know, a character that's just about to be introduced to them, you know? When it didn't happen with all the other characters, it felt odd. So I guess, like, I don't know if the intention was that we like suspend our disbelief that it's happening, but they're just not, like, the author is just not going to include it in every single character introduction, or, you know, it was a little bit odd in that sense. It was just a little awkward. And also there was a few instances of like assuming somebody's gender identity based on how they look, but there was just the little speed bump of not all androgynous people are non-binary. Almost perfect in that sense, it just didn't quite stick the landing. But overall, I would probably soft recommend this one for sure. Technically, I did read one other book. I don't know if you guys really want to hear about it though. I'll just say it's about menstrual cycles, so. I'm nothing if not an eclectic reader, so that's everything I read for this month. Let me know what you read in August, what your favorites were. Yeah, let's all add to our TBRs and we'll suffer together. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Become a Creepy Peep today. I post videos Mondays and Fridays, and I do live streams and collabs and all of that. And it's officially the start of spooky season. Technically, it's spooky season all year round here. It's a great time to subscribe, so do so. I will talk to you very soon. Until then, stay strange. Bye.